Good afternoon, Mrs. Galena. My name is Sue Ann West. I'm going to be your counselor today.
Okay.
Did you find the office okay today?
Yeah, real easy to find.
Yeah. What do you think of this beautiful fall weather?
Love it. Way better than the heat and the sweating and all that. But the allergies are catching up to me.
Yeah, it sounds like you're not feeling too well.
Ragweed gets you every time.
Okay. Are you going to be okay to do our session today?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Well, basically, before we get started, I just want to tell you a few things. First being that anything you say in our session today is between you and I.
Mm-hmm.
That's our confidentiality agreement. The only time I have to break that agreement is in the event that I feel like you're going to harm yourself, harm someone else, or if I feel like there's signs of abuse involved. I'm mandated by the state to report those types of incidences.
Okay.
You understand that?
Yes,
okay, good. And another thing we're going to do is while we're talking, I'm going to be taking some notes. I'm also going to be filling out what we call an eco map, and that will kind of give me an idea of the kind of relationships that you have. We use this as a tool to guide what kind of energy you have going out, what kind of energy is coming in. And that kind of gives us ideas of what areas we may need to assist you with and make you more comfortable.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
Yes.
Okay. Let's get started and tell me what brings you in our office today.
Well, I'm kind of having some issues with my family. I was brought up in a very large Italian, very cultured, strong-headed type of family. And so most of us that are kind of the newer generation are kind of trying to pull away from that a little bit. But I'm getting yanked back in, and it's causing some conflict within my intermediate family, and then the aunts and uncles and everybody that wants to stick their nose in the business.
Well, I can definitely say I don't have an understanding of that. I don't come from a very large family. Can you give me a better idea as far as your culture, what that all consists of for you as an individual?
Basically, we're predominantly Catholic, so more as a Catholic beliefs, while again, like I said, the newer generation, we're kind of stepping out on that and going maybe different areas as far as religion and belief. Very family oriented. Things stay within the family. You abide by, the 10 Commandments, thou shalt, honor thy mother and father, are one of the very big stepstones in this type of family. Very close. Everybody knows within the family. Everybody knows everything about all the other ones. So there are no secrets. If you don't want something said, you don't even tell your mother, because 10 minutes later you'll get a phone call from Auntie. So a lot of that stuff, very, kids are supposed to do certain things. So to kind of give an example, in different cultures like Japanese and stuff, there is a child that's set to take care of the parents and things of that nature. Kind of the same basis. We're expected to take care of our parents. We're expected to honor them. If they ask for something, they brought us into the world. They gave us everything that we need and more. I mean, we're not, by no means didn't get more than what we probably needed, but you're expected to, in a sense, kind of pay that back sometimes. And so there's a situation involving my brother that has come into play. And so I've had to voice my opinion to my mother and father on it, which was opposite of what they wanted me to say. So then that snowball effect kind of goes with it.
Okay. So let me just clarify that basically you're kind of feeling some anxiety, maybe even a little, not really aggression, but a little anger towards the fact that you feel like you're kind of obligated to continue either what your parents have done in the past instead of kind of having your own path.
Yeah, maybe a little resentment for it.
Okay.
That they've continued this And it's not, there always comes a new age where you have to do things, but mainly because of the situation, I think.
Now, you said that there was an incident with your brother. Is that something you would mind sharing with me?
Sure. So my brother is the baby of 3, so we came from a little bit smaller than normal, but he's the baby of 3. He's the only son. And for the longest time, throughout my whole entire life, my parents have always pushed me and my sister, go to college, do this. We want you to, thrive and move away and do what you need to do to, really build your own life. They've always pushed me and my sister. And for the most part, we pushed ourselves. That's what we wanted. We strived for it, and we went. My brother was a little more on the stubborn side. He was harder to get to go to school. He was harder to get through the classes. But he's 27 now. He's graduated from college. He's done his own thing. And the area of work that he's went into, he decided he did not want to follow my father's footsteps. My dad worked for my grandfather and his mother for years and years at their body shop. And then he kind of took over that business. And so it was expected of my brother that when he became of age, that he would also take over that business. My brother hates it. He does not want anything to do with it. So that's why he went the opposite end of going to college. So he's kind of gotten his own job, and he's been traveling a lot. And so my father has had to kind of pick up where my brother would normally be. Mm-hmm. So as far as running his own errands, maybe doing a little more in the shop. And he's doing okay. He does have other people, but he kind of always had my brother do that stuff. So brother's been traveling. He's happy. He's thriving. Me and my sister are excited for him. Something came up with his job, and he was unable, basically it got pushed back by a month because they're contracted. So for a month, he will not be working with this certain company that he's contracted with. And he does electrical towers, climbs towers for like cell phone companies and stuff like that. Well, so he was out without work. Well, another friend of his that works in the same area as he does called him and said, hey, while we have this month layover, do you want to come work with me and my father-in-law? And same thing we've been doing. We'll be doing more climbing than we will groundwork, but it'll pay you $500 a week, and can do that until our other job kicks back in. And so, of course, this is what my brother's been doing for months, and has no will to stop and go back to the shop or anything. So he's been doing this for a long time. So he decided, that's what I will do. So my parents, of course, when they found out he was going to be home for a month, then my dad was kind of like, well, hey, while you're home, you can come to the shop and you can help me and you can work with me. And my brother was like, no, I'm going to go with my friend and his father-in-law. I'm going to go climb for 4 weeks. I'm going to make this money. And of course, my dad's argument is, oh, I can give you $500 a week. You can make that in the shop, and I don't see why you're going this. So there was the disagreement that they had, which normally me and my sister were in our 30s, where we live an hour and a half away. Normally, just blind eye kind of thing. But what happens is that's not how it works in our family. And as a whole, even cousins and aunts and all that. My parents know that my brother does not take any criticism or any advice from them very well, but they know that he does talk to me and my sister. So they have decided to use us. And so my mother this weekend told me the story, which I kind of already knew what was going on because my brother had talked to me, and said, well, you need to talk to him. It's your responsibility. You need to talk to him, and you need to convince him that he needs to help your dad because, it would help your dad out. It wouldn't be so stressful on him, and, he could make that money and not be climbing towers, and that's more dangerous. And just basically giving me all these reasons why I should talk to my brother into going spending this month working with my father instead of doing what he's doing. So I kind of disagreed. I told my mom that I don't think that's the right thing he needs to do. This is what he went to school for. Dad would have to be doing these things regardless of, whether Jonathan was there or not. So he's, let him go do his own thing. He's an adult now. He's 27 years old. you can't keep him on a leash forever. He has to go do his own thing. And so where it causes a conflict is then I have my mother and father upset that I don't agree with them and that I'm not willing to carry out their wishes. And so it kind of makes it stressful because then it's like, you don't want that tension between you and your parents, especially when I'm kind of on the receiving side from them right now because they help me with my daughter. They come down every weekend, give me and my husband a chance to kind of get away and be a couple for a day. When they come down and spend time with us and, they have there's different amenities that we do with them. My dad races, so we go racing with them. They have a boat, so me and my sister go boating with my mom and dad every weekend. So, but when you have that tension there, then it's kind of like...
Makes everything uncomfortable.
Oh, right, yes.
Well, I have to give you kudos for the fact that you sound like you have a lot of strength, even though I know it's got to be hard to kind of go against your parents, especially if you are close to them. And it sounds like you are very close to your family.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're close to your brother. So I have to commend you for the fact that you're willing to be that advocate for him, stand up for what you feel is right for him, even though in the event it may cause some tension there. Do you feel like that tension is more caused just because your mom may be a little worried about your brother, because it's more dangerous work?
Maybe this much, but that was the last thing mentioned. So the first thing mentioned was he needs to be there to help your father.
Right. So
give your father a break this month so that he's not doing all these things. And then it trickled down, and that was the very last thing thrown in there was, climbing's, not safe. But he's been climbing.
Yeah, right.
This is just more climbing, where he might climb one tower in his job now, he might do 2 or 3 that day. So that's the difference, is that there's more climbing, not that this is a new thing to it.
So let me just kind of summarize kind of go over what we went over so far. It sounds like even though you're the oldest, you want to be there for your brother. You also want to be there for your parents. So it definitely sounds like you're torn between those two aspects of your family. And you also are of the belief that he's of age, he should be willing to have his own path, no matter what the family says, that you have to live your own life, and that you're respecting his wishes to do that. But in retrospect, you want things to be okay between you and your parents. And you also are feeling a little resentful that they are putting you in this position.
Yes.
It sounds to me like it's more that you're feeling more resentment towards being put in the position than what they're doing to each other. Does that sound correct?
Yes, it should be definitely something that they handle. But that's when you're in this type of culture, type of family, that's not how it works. And Italians, they always make funny that they're, dirty Italians. Well, part of that is true. They will find whatever string they need to pull to try to get it to go their way.
Okay.
Yes, it's definitely, manipulation can definitely be a word I would use in that.
Well, it sounds like that this is something that you maybe need to continue to talk about. Have you addressed this at all with your parents?
Other than simply that evening that my mother, wanted me to say this, and I basically said, no, I'm not.
Okay.
But no, I have never actually sat down and said, listen, don't want to be the middleman here anymore. But again, that's going to be me going against them and how things are. So
right.
It's a full circle kind of deal.
So it may be something that we need to continue to work on, if this is something that you would agree to, that we'll continue to discuss how you're feeling, the resentment, continue to go on a path to helping you not feel that way, and maybe working on some things that we can improve for you as far as feeling like you can speak to them and not be in fear that you're going to be ostracized from the family. Does that sound like something you'd be willing to continue to do?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I do appreciate your time today. I appreciate you coming in. We will definitely continue to discuss what's going on with your family and see if we can't come to some resolutions. And it might be even in our best interest to maybe include mom and dad eventually in one of these as well. But again, I do have to commend you for the fact that you're so willing to be that big sister and be there for your brother. I mean, even though he's not a baby, he's always going to be your little brother in your mind, and he's always going to be the baby as far as your mom is concerned. So definitely, and I do appreciate the fact that you're trying to better help me understand that there is some culture difference, because like I said, I don't have that background, so I definitely have to commend you for the fact that you are dealing with a large family and trying to keep everybody happy all at the same time. So again, I thank you for coming in. If you have any questions for me, please don't hesitate.
Okay.
And I'll see you next week. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.